Cincinnati, Ohio. Blue skies ahead, everybody, on a Monday, November 17th, 2025. Welcome back, folks, to the show. That would be American Sunrise, by the way. Did you know that's the name of the show? You know, it appears President Trump may have made up his mind on action against Venezuela. The president told reporters Friday evening that he has, quote, sort of decided. He has reviewed options ranging from airstrikes on narco-trafficking routes to a potential push to oust Nicolas Maduro. The Pentagon has moved more than a dozen warships and 15,000 troops to carry out what they call Operation Southern Spear. All right, for more, let's bring in retired Navy SEAL officer Mike Sarreli, a good friend of the show. Mike, what do you think here? Any predictions as to what President Trump likely will do here? Good morning to you.
Good morning, David. You know, similar to the Iranian strikes, Trump didn't telegraph his moves there. I don't think he's going to telegraph it here. What he's doing is he's keeping Maduro and Venezuela off balance. But here's what I see and what I think Trump understands is that we cannot ignore a narco-state backed by Beijing and Moscow. We've been arguably so focused on foreign wars in different hemispheres that we've ignored our own backyard. You know, not only border security, but narco-terrorism and foreign influence are all connected. And Trump understands that if the U.S. is our house, the Western Hemisphere is our backyard. So, we can ill afford to allow that to seep into our house. And arguably that's already happened. He's cleaning it up. At the end of the day, what I would love to see is a measured legal response tied to very clear objectives. And I would, for a guy who's ended so many wars, I don't think he's going to easily enter into one. I would like to see him use the full arsenal of our economic, diplomatic, information, and intelligence assets before going to overt military operations.
Mike, the Trump administration has launched an immigration crackdown in Charlotte. Assistant DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin said Americans should be able to live without fear of violent, criminal, illegal aliens hurting their families. Federal agents have arrested at least 81 people in Charlotte so far. Charlotte's mayor slammed the move. Mike, what do you think happens next?
What I still fail to understand is that the American public doesn't see that we have immigration laws. Enforcing those immigration laws is not extreme. That's basic governance. What's extreme is what happened under the Biden administration, letting millions of people in. So I support this move. In fact, I think the biggest shortfall right now is the manning for ICE. They are spending millions right now to recruit young men and women into their forces in order to conduct more of these operations. But Dr. Gina, if I asked all of you, do you feel more safe than 10 years ago? I guarantee the answer is going to be no. I've got a 13-month-old daughter, and I still have this sense of fear. I came from a pretty strong background. I don't fear many men, especially with the peers that I have stand by my side, but I don't feel safe anymore. And we've got to police up the people that are illegally here and get them out of our nation in order to address and take care of our U.S. citizens. And that is strong leadership. And whatever the Charlotte mayor says, she is just, or he is just wrong in this circumstance.
Mike, I want to bring your attention to this Bloomberg headline, which reads, Israel vows no Palestinian state as UN set to vote on a Gaza plan. Benjamin Netanyahu said that there will be no Palestinian state and that Hamas will disarm. There's so many questions I have about this, but let me start here. Are there too many cooks in the kitchen here? You've got the UN, you've got President Trump's plan, which is already in place and seems to at least be the guiding post as it relates to this. Are there too many people trying to intercede in terms of trying to bring peace to the region, not just between Israel and Hamas, but really to the entire Middle East?
Too many cooks in the kitchen. Too many people with opinion, with no interaction in that arena whatsoever. Here's what I'll say: this is the typical UN globalist mafia inserting themselves and putting the cart before the horse. We haven't even disarmed Hamas yet. That's phase one. Get an international stabilization force in there, and we could talk about Palestinian statehood down the road. I can tell you where I stand. The answer is absolutely not. We're not going to reward somebody for what they did on October 7th. That sets a bad precedence. But I will say this: Clinton went through this with Prime Minister Barack and PLO Chairman Yasser Arafat. The Palestinians don't want statehood. They want the destruction of Israel. So don't support a group, a terrorist group that wants statehood and wants credibility and validity when they're just going to continue to attack Israel? I think the answer is clear here. And anyone with a view other than that, I just can't quite understand what moral ground they're coming from.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Mike, how concerned are you? How queasy are you about the United States dabbling over there in terms of this international stabilization force and all of that? I mean, should America pretty much say, hey, good luck to all of you, we're out? Or how do you see it?
The U.S. always needs to lead the influence of what's going on, but it is time. It's well overdue that the Arab League, the Gulf Cooperation Council states get involved and provide those forces. This is their backyard. It only benefits them to bring peace and stability to the Middle East, to drive their economic plans, and they need to step up. They usually talk a big game, but they're slow in moving, and if they move at all, they're ineffective. So we really do. I'll finish with this. As Lawrence of Arabia said, Arab problems are best dealt with Arab hands. The Arab states need to step up here and take care of their own backyard, much like we're doing in the Western Hemisphere.
Great point. Mike Sarreli, great to have you on the show as always. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, y'all.
All right, coming up, have you ever been stressed out about taxes and money? Join the crowd. We have some expert tips on how to alleviate some of that stress next on American Sunrise.